Good afternoon. My name is Cerilyn Danton and I'm a Senior Electronics Engineer in the Swansea Bay Health Board. I'd like to thank you all today for allowing me to discuss our latest project with you, which involves using technology to improve equipment management, implementing and evaluating an online defibrillator dashboard. In the Swansea Bay Health Board, across two of our sites, we use the Zoll defibrillators. First of all, we have the R series, which is our manual defibrillator and is used in a clinical setting by formally trained staff. This is the defib that we will be concentrating on throughout this presentation, as this is the one that is live on the dashboard. We also have the AED3, which is an automatic defibrillator, and we're currently updating these so that they will also be live on the dashboard. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about why we started this project. So back in 2019, the dashboard was implemented in our Morriston Hospital, and it provides us with an interface so we could see the status of all of our defibs in the hospital that are connected to the Wi-Fi. All of the defibs carry out an automatic check at 4 o'clock in the morning. This is something I will show you later on in the presentation. We then get any failure reports and any missed defibs that have been untested that day. And what we found when looking through the data, that was around 10% of all defibs in the hospital are not ready or in a fail state of 4 o'clock in the morning. This shows us that users are not carrying out their manual tests to rectify the faults with these defibs as per the local and UK guidelines. So here is some data that we've accumulated between January and May this year. As you can see, around 3% of tests done between these times were failed test statuses, and around 8% were in the not ready status. So that means between the months of February and June, 11% of defibs in the hospital were not ready to be used. So here's a look at the opening page of the dashboard. As you can see, it lists all of the hospital defibs that are connected to the Wi-Fi. Using this dashboard, we can also download any reports for the last 30 days, 90 days or a year, meaning we can have a look through the data and evaluate it. The dashboard also allows us to create email alerts, and we can group users via their location or department. On each defib page, we can add its location, the asset number, and the tag if we require that. So here's an example of a fail state. So a fail state is when there are no pads connected to the defib. This will cause a fail state as the test load is inside of the pads. A battery failure and a battery low would also cause a fail state or a fault with the defib. So here's an example of a defib that was located in RAU in Morriston. So as you can see, on the 15th of September, at 4 o'clock in the morning, it came up as a failed state, and this was due to the battery being low. So at 11:52 we went down and we carried out a manual test on the defib. This then passed the defib, and what we did to rectify this one was we changed the battery and reconnected it to the mains power. So here's a little video from Zoll showing us how we carry out this manual test. And here is an example of a not ready state defib, and this one was one in A&E. Typically a not ready state happens when the defib is unplugged from the mains power. So here we have another reason that we found why the batteries were going low on the defibs. So you can see on this video, the defib was turned on at 6 minutes past 4 in the morning, and it wasn't attached to the patient until 4:15. And between the hours of 4:15 and 8:15, the defib was used for monitoring only, which is something that should not be happening with these defibs. So how did we do this? So we caught all of the data between January and September and extrapolated it and analysed it. We tested the compliance of each area and evaluated what was going on. And Paul Lee took all of the information to the radar meetings and shared the information with all the professionals on there. And we also regularly review DataX to ensure that we are not missing any incidents with these defibs. So when we looked at the results, we found that there was generally a lack of awareness surrounding the dashboard, that this had only been kept within our department and that the nursing and clinical staff were not aware of this dashboard. We found that any automatic emails that were sent out to the relevant staff were not being acted upon, as they did not quite understand the content of those emails. We also found, because of COVID, a lot of wards were being relocated or defibs were being swapped around depending on what the clinical area was being used for. So what we did, we started tagging the defibs so then we could find them with an RFID tag. We also found that defibs were just generally being left in an unready state. As we previously stated, around 11% of defibs weren't ready to be used immediately. So what we did, we updated the list of contacts and made sure that any matrons were giving us some up-to-date information if their staffing changed. So what we concluded was that the dashboard is definitely an invaluable resource to tackle issues in a very timely manner. This means that any failed self-tests, pads missing, battery lows, or any faults with the defibs were being acted upon in a timely manner, well in advance of any manual tests or observations being carried out. It also raised some important safety considerations, and we have highlighted these and shared with both the supplier of SOL and the health board committees and safety groups such as RADAR. We also realised that the implementation and ongoing support required for any software or dashboard needs adequate resources to manage, which we have managed to do by allocating time and resources. So here are some resources that we used and have referenced earlier on in the presentation. And I would also like to take this time to thank my colleagues who helped me carry out this project. We have Andy Rowlands, who is our EBME IT lead, Adrian Griffiths, who helped me correlate all of the data, Paul Lee, who helped raise the alerts and has been in discussion with all the committees and the supplier, and Barbara Lane, who helped me carry out the dashboard and all of the training required. So now it's over to you guys for any questions.